It's got to watch our footing. Even though I know it holds, it's still a little sketchy for me. Vaulted ceilings, 37 feet high. I wonder where the cart return is. These are like steps for the Jolly Green Giant. Yeah, this is looking beneath the floor we were standing in on the inside. So, do you remember this location? Well, if you've been following my channel, you probably do, because I was here just a short while ago, as this was a Google Finds target that I located, documented, and many of you had become rather invested in, wanting to know what was it truly used for. Well, I've had some great viewer feedback, some photos, some maps, and some other things sent to me that may finally answer what this was used for once and for all. If you want to find out more, all you need to do is come along with me. So for my revisit, I did bring a friend with me as well. Joining me today is Robbie from I'm Not Lost, I'm Exploring.
Hey guys.
He's seen my video and I said, hey, I want to come back here to do an update. Do you want to come? He's like, absolutely. So this is going to be his first time seeing this place and what it has to offer. And hopefully he has a similar reaction to what I had when I first came here. So we're going to head inside. We know what to expect, which is quite a sight. And we're going to wave Robbie over to get his impression as well. So it's quite a sight to take it in person.
Oh man. Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a drop.
A little bit.
There's actually a side-by-side down there in the corner, stripped.
Really?
Yep.
Oh man. I see a roof over here.
Yeah, and there's the engine down there too. Yeah, this is one heck of a location, especially with that floating staircase, which I was nervous as heck to walk down, but it did hold me, so I'm going to do it again today. But we're going to get down there, just give it another once over, and I do have some information I'm going to share with you from several viewers, which hopefully will solidly answer what this was used for once and for all, because, well, there's a lot of speculation. I had a lot of guessing myself, and based on what we see on the inside and outside, well, there's a bigger picture to tell than what we see today. So this room right here to our right, there's a backpack here. This is going to play part in possibly some of the evidence that we have of what used to exist. But I want to get down there in the center, and then we're going to talk a few things. Oh, that pipe actually looks like it's busted and there's water coming all the way down. It's frozen. It's a giant icicle right now. Yeah, maybe. It's frozen right now. So the steps have some ice on them down here too. We just have to be careful of that. And I think I measured, it was over 30, I think around 37 feet from top to bottom. So it's a good height. Now, if you haven't seen my original video, I definitely recommend watching it, because I went a lot more in depth with exploring this place and giving measurements and other things. We also confirmed too that down here, that is a stripped side-by-side. This is the roof of it, which I thought was a bed liner. And then most likely that's an engine from the side-by-side, even though someone said it could have been a Subaru engine as well. But something I wanted to make mention before we talk anything specific is that when I was here last time, I did notice this. This is a pipe that's capped going straight down. And when we came outside the first time, we saw that there was water beneath us, like an opening beneath us. I believe there's a sub room to this beneath us that we don't have access to. And I think that pipe may go down into it. But we have a large pipe there, we know, smaller pipes over here, and then that alcove area right up there in the corner. There's a shot from down here with Robbie up on top for scale. So he said he's never seen a place like this, and I could agree that this is like one of a kind for us to come to a location like this. So since we're down here, we're going to talk a few things that were shared by a few different viewers. And I have some illustrations, a map, and some photos I did use previously to help solidify everything that was shared. So we have one of two theories for this location. And I say we, I mean the general consensus and the evidence supporting it by the viewers. Now originally, my thoughts You okay?
I just want to distract you.
It worked. Originally, I thought this was maybe a filling station for locomotives, based on the DL&W tracks being literally right outside this building. But after looking back at the footage and reading some of the comments, this would have been overkill. This is much more than you would need to fill locomotives. Aside from that, the water of the Susquehanna River is not really clean water. It would have to be heavily filtered before it went into a locomotive so it doesn't basically destroy it. So I think we can rule that out, not for locomotives. But what we do know is, based on the old map images and what I explained earlier about there being a room underneath us, is that the river had a channel, I should say the land had a channel bringing the river right into this building. So water came directly from the river right into where we are. And what was that reason for? Well, hopefully one of these two theories will make sense. So the first one, I'm going to try to summarize it, but it's from a person called Whiskey Jack. He's commented on numerous videos. He's really insightful, really knowledgeable, has access to a lot of resources that I don't have or don't know about. Long story short, he said that we discovered a specialized, mechanized river ice storage house designed for the industrial ice trade that once thrived along the Susquehanna River. So given its location on the old Delaware-Lackawanna Western Railroad, right out there, it served as critical logistic hub for the Mountain Ice Company and later the Susquehanna Coal Company. And the massive 37-foot height by 28 by 24-foot footprint, which we measured, were engineered for the vertical stacking of ice blocks, which creates a self-cooling environment capable of holding over 700 tons of ice. So if that is true, that means ice was chopped up in the river, brought in here through that channel, and then stored in here. And he said the large concrete steps on the exterior served as foundations for a mechanical conveyor system that wrapped around the side of the building. The indentation you noticed on the interior at the top, which is up there, that alcove, was the location of the electric motor, which was protected from the elements while powering the chain lift. This comment I'm also going to show on the video too, so you can read the rest of it for yourself. But basically saying in an ice house, ice was formed in the river, chopped up, stored in here until it was loaded onto the train and transported. And a lot of that's for like milk and cold storage as well. So that's one theory, which, based on what he described and other details, does sound very plausible, if not specifically what this is. But there's conflict because we have a few other commenters who also have evidence to back it up. So one commenter is under Event Scuba, and this person actually is involved with water management, and they've helped me on other videos in the past. So I do know they know things in regards to water control. So they said the pump house is confirmed. Look at mind map, which I'm going to show you on the screen. The angled I-beams at the river outside this building on the outside were probably some type of trash rack to keep large debris out of the intake, which I did imagine as well for those big steps. I don't see any nearby breakers, even though there is one not too far from here, or colliery sites, or water pipes are probably just supplying the railroad. So could it be supplying the railroad for other means besides filling locomotives? Absolutely. But there was a colliery site, which we do have confirmation of thanks to another viewer. And this one says, I have confirmed that the structure is a pump house. It's clearly drawn and labeled on a surface map for the Woodward Colliery, which would be up in that direction, I think maybe a couple hundred yards away, not too far at all. You could clearly see the outside step structures on the south wall, as well as the retaining wall on the east side where you made entry and looked down into the step structures where we are. It says the colliery was a massive operation, second largest in the state at one time, and this pump house was likely supplying water to the colliery, but they can't confirm it. If that's not the case, it would have been supplied for municipal water supply, but still owned by the Woodward Colliery. So that is the second theory. And lastly, one other viewer, his name is Craig, he sent me an email, and I don't know his background, but he's knowledgeable in what he knows and does, and has done research of his own. He's provided me with 3, I guess you could say, artistic renderings or drawings of what potentially could have been in here as far as equipment. So we have the first image up here, which is showing the outside front from the outside looking down inside. So we know there was that concrete space outside, which I said it could have been a loading dock. And the alcove area is right next to it as well. But down inside where we are, it looks like it would have been 4 large pumps going to a main pipe, which could be that one over there. There's another overhead image now showing directly down as if the roof was gone. So the alcove area there, which we learned possibly was for machinery. We did see conduit and other things supporting that. Concrete pad outside, steps coming down, and an overhead view of the 4 pumps connected up to the pipe. And we have this image here, which basically he said, what was this building used for? And it's a southeast elevation looking northwest. So this shows a farther away view, the height, the scale of the building, and the infrastructure on the inside here, which shows the steps, the alcove area, possibly an overhead gantry crane or a bridge crane, and some different measurements and elevations, and more importantly, machinery on the inside here. Again, looking up to a big pipe, but possibly sucking up water from beneath us of another area or chamber beneath us that we don't have access to. So between all 3 of these, what do I think? What do I believe? Well, first off, I don't discredit anyone on what they shared because they obviously have more knowledge than I do. Although I do research, I don't know everything. I don't have access to everything as well. Everything that's provided to me does seem solid and really plausible that it could go one way or the other. Now, there are times where time frames overlap and buildings could be used for different purposes by different companies. Is it possible that at one time this was an ice house and maybe later on or before that was a pump house? Very well possible. Is it specifically one or the other? It's likely, but I don't know which one it is. That's why I want you guys to share your thoughts. Since we do know more things about this, we got to see some renderings of what possibly could have been inside here of large pumps, and to know that the river did come right to this building, although it wasn't here, it was beneath us. Well, we know the river played a part. We know water played a part with the river. Was it for ice? Was it being pumped somewhere? I can't say one way or the other, because looking at my old photos, it does look like maybe a conveyor system was around this building, but there's also other buildings that did exist like this nearby back in the time, where one of those buildings may have been specifically the ice house, where this one is confirmed on my maps as a pump house. So again, the evidence is conflicting, but if I was to guess myself, I'd say 60-40 pump house. But there's still a possibility that it overlapped over time, that it could have been one or the other at different time frames operating within the same building. So with that being said, hopefully that answers some questions as to what we think it is. We were able to eliminate what we originally thought it was. We know the railroad played a part in it. We know it was near a colliery site, and we know that the river played a big factor in why this building was created. So by all means, take that evidence and the information for what you will, and share additional thoughts down below. And hopefully, if anyone else has additional details, especially like pictures or diagrams showing that this is the ice house, that would be even better. The only thing we have right now is someone sharing some really detailed information, but there's no visual confirmation. With the mind maps, we do have visual confirmation that this is a pump house for the colliery site, which could have been providing water for the railroad, the colliery, or the municipality. I was right, open floor plan, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Vaulted ceilings, 37 feet high.
37 feet.
Yeah. It's hard to really get scale through the camera, but
Yeah.
I documented this when I was down here with my 360 camera, getting some really wide images, so that's probably as close as we could come, but you walking down definitely helps with the scale. Now, Robbie thought, as well as me originally, that this room may have been filled with water at times. I mean, there's some evidence of that. And then there's evidence that the water was being transferred somewhere. There's also, clear possibility this could have been filled with ice. And there's a chain system bringing the ice in, and it was all powered up in that alcove. Regardless, we know there was a power system up there. There's conduit, and this looks like an area that would be protected from water or elements to run pumps or a conveyor chain lift system. Now, I noticed it before, but it didn't really stand out to me. So we noticed the pipe but there are some bases down here, some concrete supports or bases where something could have been mounted on this. So it looks a little bit more substantial that maybe there was pumps down here because there's more bases down here. So pumps could have been mounted and again, discharging the water through there. So essentially, pumps connected to that pipe, bringing the water up to this room and then up to that pipe and sending it wherever it needs to go. So right now, I'm still about 60-40 that this was a pump house. I wonder where the cart return is. I don't see a name on it. It's got the child safety strap at least. Do a little shopping around here.
Climb in there. I push you around.
I might get in, but I don't know if I'll get out.
I don't think I'm pushing it anywhere.
So another observation Robbie made, we have that pipe right there, and then right here, he uncovered where another pipe was. This one's got anchor bolts around it, so something was mounted on here, whether it be like an intake and outlet, but regardless, they were directly in line. Some more piping here, but we know there's several concrete bases right behind the pipe openings as well. So a little bit more clues, a little bit more evidence that things were mounted in here. And if it was for ice, like I said, it may have been before or after the pump house days, but I'm now leaning about 70-30 pump house versus ice house. But again, what that individual told me about the ice house seems pretty accurate and compelling. So like I said, it could be an overlap with time, could just be a nearby structure, or maybe I'm just completely off. Maybe this was an ice house still. Also noticing too, conduit coming down from up top. So there's like a junction box right there. So if they had pumps in here, well, it'd be run by electric, so they would have had to have power brought down here. And all the power, the one thing I'm really certain of is that all the power came from right there in that alcove room. All right, we're gonna make our way out of here now. Gonna give Robbie a time down here to explore, and then we're gonna head out back just to give a final look at some of the things we talked about. But after having walked these steps a few times, I feel a whole lot better doing it today. So I measured from floor to the top, 37 feet, and roughly 24 by 28 across.
How did they get up there? That's
Yeah. I know some people that would do it, but I'm not one of them. It's actually working this time.
Good job. Got the evil eye going on there.
Terminator. Should have waited for me.
You didn't get it?
Are you okay?
Oh yeah. I'm probably filthy now.
Elbow's a little dirty. Not too bad.
I see my whole backwards.
Yeah, you went the way I said not to. That's why I avoided it.
I actually tried to step over to that side,
Yeah.
and as soon as I stepped in the middle, my whole leg went.
Another casualty. Now, if this was an ice house, we're here at the correct season. The river's starting to freeze. Got some little icebergs out there. But as we learned, and with visual confirmation of the old maps, there was an inlet here going directly to the building. So river had direct access. And the open channel that I noticed during my first visit makes a whole lot more sense now, because it confirms there's an underground room beneath where we were standing that those pipes are going down into. And actually, from what I could see, which hopefully I could get confirmation with the light, it looks like it actually is pretty deep. Okay, maybe it's just a little pocket there, but yeah, this is looking beneath the floor we were standing in on the inside. So with this, plus what we learned from the comments from the viewers, it makes a whole lot more sense that this was open at one time and now it's filled up when they filled in the inlet, they filled up this underground cavity as well. I originally said these big steps here were almost like a debris catcher and supports for the wall in case, well, the inside, if it was filled up with ice or water, this is going to help support the walls from breaking apart since there's no earth protecting it back here. That still could be the case, but I think there was more going on here than we realized, because from what the one comment said is that these were part of a debris screen, which these are cut, I believe. These look like they're all cut. It's kind of jagged edges. These probably came down further into the water passage, the inlet, to block material going through, like limbs and other things. So I think it's a likelihood, possibility of this being supports for the wall, and this being almost like grizzly bars for a hopper, but it's basically an industrial sized screening device to prevent any large objects going into what we could call the reservoir before the water went up into the pumps. So I think, again, that's pretty on par of what we're looking at today. These are like steps for the Jolly Green Giant. A lot of nature's carpet up there too. Be careful with it.
Already fell once.
At least if you fall again, we're both filming.
Yeah, it'll be worth it. I don't want the backpack on. It's already standing there.
This looks like a router.
I think I saw another one of them.
Wi-Fi password reset. This is a router.
There's one over there too.
So if you come to this building, turn on the Wi-Fi, you could do some streaming. Well, little by little, I think we could piece together the side-by-side because, well, we got some parts on the inside, including the engine. One of the doors is outside there. And over here, well, we're finding more.
I think we're gonna need a new battery.
Yeah, the battery's out here too. There's a door here and some more doors. I think there's a 4-door. Wolverine R Max. So, oh, and here's the console. I thought it was a TV. So this is like the instrument cluster area. So we got headlights, 2-wheel, 4-wheel, differential lock, and sport, trail, and crawl. So yeah, it was stripped. I'm guessing they probably brought it down here, ripped everything off of it, and then brought it up into the opening and just shoved it off. That's my suspicions anyways. But if anyone's looking for some doors, they're right here. Yeah, so behind you guys, we're finding more of the side-by-side. I think we can piece it back together and get it running again. A little ingenuity and duct tape and hopes and dreams.
There you go.
So now that we're returned, actually much sooner than anticipated, I feel a lot more confident now about what this was used for. Based on everything that we see and we learned about, even Robbie uncovering some more pipes in the ground, no doubt in my mind, there's an underground reservoir where the river came into it. Now it's filled up. Those pipes in the basement or lower level went down into that, and I'm thinking most likely pumps were connected to them, pumping the water up into that large diameter pipe that came out somewhere, actually probably under that stoop right there. There's a little cavity there. So it came out somewhere close to the railroad. But where the water went from there, if it was to the colliery, it would have been up that way, at least 100 yards, if not further. And if the railroad was using it, I don't believe it's for filling the locomotives. It's just overkill and not great water unless it was filtered. Ice house, I still can't rule it out, but the insides, though, just don't really match up with what we see. The outside's more so than anything else. Close to the proximity to the tracks, able to transport the ice. So I'm still thinking 70-30 pump house versus ice house. Probably a greater possibility they overlapped at one time or the other where it was a multi-use building for different companies. But since this was your first time here, what are your thoughts? Turn your light off. You're blinding me.
Again? I don't know, JP. I don't know what to think. It'd be interesting to find out, but I kind of agree. I think it was a pump house.
It's pretty fascinating though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just, like I said, up by me, you don't see that anymore. The
Yeah.
buildings are gone or they've been repurposed to something else.
And he said off camera, he's like, I don't know how you find these places. I'm like, a lot of patience, a lot of research, sometimes word of mouth. But this is one of the better discoveries I've made in recent times. And the fact that so many people were invested in it and shared their insight and knowledge with me, I felt it was needed to come back and share that with everyone else. So definitely, by all means, let me know down in the comments section which way you are, ice house versus pump house. And if you have any additional details based on new things we saw today, I'd love to hear them as well. But this was my most recent Google Maps finding. I do have at least 2, possibly 3 more planned. But after today, we're supposed to get over a foot of snow. So I don't know when they're going to happen. There's going to be maybe some new material popping up based around snow, because we're not going to be able to see anything on the ground other than that. But I do want to thank Robbie for joining me today, because we did do a few locations already. So if you haven't been to his channel, you'll find it down below. And thanks to you guys for coming back and hanging out with us as we explored a rather fascinating and interesting building here along the old DL&W. Take care, thanks for watching, and until next time, we'll see you in the next video.